What happens when a supernova of talent collides with deeply ingrained societal narratives? You get the Caitlin Clark phenomenon. We've seen records shattered, arenas sold out, and a seismic shift in the landscape of women's basketball. But with the meteoric rise comes the inevitable storm of opinions, often laced with controversy. From audacious shots on the court to audacious accusations off the court. But the real story, the deeper legacy of NCAA, the WNBA, and the players who will take their next step has been lost in the sound and fury. Today, we're diving headfirst into the heart of this debate. We'll unpack the controversial statements, dissect the underlying tensions, and most importantly, explore the undeniable impact of Caitlin Clark on the NCAA and beyond. Forget the surface-level takes, we're going deep. Are you ready? The spark that ignited this particular firestorm? Comments made by ESPN broadcaster Monica McNutt suggesting that Clark's popularity is primarily due to her being a white girl from Middle America. Now, before we get lost in the noise, let's establish something crucial. The story is never as simple as a soundbite. But what's important is what this discussion reveals about the existing infrastructure within the legacy of the NCAA itself. McNutt's core argument hinges on the idea that Clark's race and background are the primary drivers of her popularity. While representation undoubtedly plays a role in any athlete's appeal, to reduce Clark's success solely to these factors is not only dismissive, but demonstrably false. It ignores the hours of training, the dedication, and, frankly, the sheer brilliance she displays on the court. But let's consider the underpinnings that might have caused this argument to begin with. How has the legacy of the NCAA historically handled race and representation? That is the real question here, and that cannot be ignored. Let's be clear, Caitlin Clark is breaking viewership records because she's exciting. She's revolutionizing the game with her range, her passing, her court vision. She's doing things we haven't seen before, and people are drawn to that. Think about Magic Johnson, his infectious joy and dazzling play-transcended race. Or Larry Bird's relentless hustle and uncanny skill. Sports heroes resonate because of their talent and their character, not just their demographics. If Clark only checked one box, then this wouldn't be a point of discussion. Whitlock, in his characteristic style, argued that Clark's relatability stems from her not embodying certain characteristics he associates with anger and entitlement. While his sentiment might resonate with some, it also risks falling into harmful stereotypes and oversimplifications. The danger here is painting with broad strokes and ignoring the complexities of individual experiences. Are we going to dismiss the hard work and dedication that these athletes give to their schools and the teams that they play for? Are we going to ignore the legacy that they could leave to our next generation? No. Here's where the irony becomes almost unbearable. In attempting to discuss representation, McNutt's comments arguably undermined a female athlete who is actively expanding the reach of women's basketball. To reduce Clark's accomplishments to mere identity politics is a disservice to her, to the sport, and to the very idea of progress. But where were we before Caitlin Clark? Is this an issue of entitlement or a wake-up call to the league to provide equal representation to all? The backlash against McNutt highlights the intense scrutiny that sports analysts face in today's media landscape. When commentary veers into subjective bias or ignores the objective realities of athletic achievement, credibility is inevitably questioned, and that's fair. Fans are passionate, invested, and they can spot disingenuous takes a mile away. And when they don't see themselves represented in sports, it can send a damaging message. This wasn't an isolated incident. Critics have pointed to previous instances where McNutt appeared to downplay Clark's contributions, raising questions about potential bias. Whether intentional or not, these comments contribute to a narrative that undermines Clark's accomplishments and fuels unnecessary division. There's a sense that Clark's explosive popularity represents a challenge to the established order within women's basketball media. Some voices, accustomed to certain narratives, may feel threatened by the influx of new fans and attention that Clark brings. This isn't necessarily malicious, but it can create a resistance to fully embracing her impact. Is there enough space for all the voices at the table? Is it possible that it's not about undermining the new generation, but rather about protecting their own? The WNBA finds itself a precarious position, simultaneously celebrating Clark's ability to attract new viewers while allowing narratives to persist that undermine her appeal. This reveals a fundamental tension between embracing mass appeal and catering to existing power structures and narratives. It has to be asked, is the WNBA equipped to handle a player of Caitlin Clark's magnitude? Whitlock's assertion that Clark resonates with a specific demographic due to her perceived lack of anger and entitlement sparked further debate. While his comments resonated with some, they also risk reinforcing harmful stereotypes and ignoring the complexities of individual experiences. But the deeper question is, what does it mean to be relatable? What does it mean for players to carry that responsibility when stepping into their role within the NCAA and WNBA? Is that something that the next generation should carry, or is it something that belongs to the league itself? By allowing narratives to persist that frame Clark's popularity as merely a function of race, the WNBA risks alienating the very audience segments she has successfully brought to the table. This is a self-defeating strategy that undermines the league's own growth potential. But this cannot be seen as a negative, because where are we if we're not having these discussions? What progress would be made if these conversations do not begin at all? Ultimately, Clark's impact transcends the manufactured controversies. Her electric style of play, her competitive fire, and her genuine love for the game are winning over fans of all backgrounds. She's inspiring a new generation of players and transforming the landscape of women's basketball. This should be the focus, not the divisive narratives. We need to move beyond identity politics and celebrate the talent and dedication that make her a true phenomenon. But it is also our responsibility to ensure that the league is in line and moving with equal strides alongside its players. To continue to elevate, inspire, and provide the platform that showcases not only talent, but the hard work and dedication as well. The Indiana Fever, once a struggling franchise, are now at the center of a cultural shift. With Clark leading the charge, they've assembled a roster poised to shock the basketball world. This isn't just about one player, it's about a team coming together, building chemistry, and striving for greatness. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you never miss out. Click the video on the screen. See you.